Hi, I'm Colin.
And I'm Bert.
This is Dabbing with Washington Artists. The idea is simple 6 questions,
And 6 dabs.
as we get to know the artists behind the art that makes Washington, Washington.
So sit back and light those torches.
Because this is Dabbing with Washington Artists.
Hi, I am Emily Claire, and I am a pet portrait and wildlife colored pencil artist. You can check me out at artbyemilyclaire.com, or on Facebook you can type Art by Emily Claire. If you see fish, that's the one. Coming up, I have quite a few original works that should be dropping, and I expect them to be very colorful and very fun, so keep your eye out. Should be good.
For today's series of dabs, we will begin our smoke session with a gelato, a papaya punch, and a wedding cake, and we will round out our session with the platinum Cinex, a slurricane, and a meathead.
Welcome to Dabbing with Washington Artists. Today we are joined by Emily Powers. Thank you for joining us on our show.
Absolutely.
It's great. For dab number 1, we're going to be doing a gelato, which is our first indica of the group here.
Gelato is an indica-dominant hybrid known for its unique terpene profile of sweet lavender and fruitiness, and its tendencies to leave the smoker calm and couch-locked. We picked up a gram of this sugar wax at a shop on Evergreen Way in Everett.
I'm gonna pull it up to clear it.
Yep.
Boom, first tab.
Hell yeah. So, since you've seen our show, you know generally what our first question is here. So, what role does cannabis play in your creative process?
So I'm a nervous noodle.
Okay.
And when I go into write, especially since I want to focus on photorealism, the detail you have to really zoom in on, and I have like hundreds of colors next to me. So when I get in my own head and I start to get nervous, I'm like, is this good enough? Is this right? And I start slowing way down, stop, take a couple dabs, and I'm like, wait, is this fun?
So it puts you into that good headspace and lets you kind of
Absolutely.
kick some of your own anxieties out.
Absolutely.
Absolutely understand that. Usually even before these interviews I have to do a dab or two just so that,
Wow, it helps.
gotta make sure you're good on camera and everything. So do you have a preferred type of either a strain or like either indica sativa or
I have a favorite strain for sure, Super Lemon Haze. I absolutely recommend it.
That's a good one.
I don't know if it's indica or sativa. All I know is when I smoke it, I get so happy.
Oh, yep.
Just joy. It's awesome.
So for dab number 2, we have a papaya punch.
Papaya Punch is a well-balanced indica-dominant hybrid that is known for its aroma of earthy cheese and fruit and its smooth body high. We scored a gram of this wax at a shop on 112th in Linwood.
Nice. This hits so smooth.
All right. So how has living in Washington influenced your art or your creative process?
So interesting because I was born here. And then at 19, I moved away to Michigan. And
Okay.
I just moved back like 6 months ago.
Welcome back.
Thank you. And so over there is so much different between the culture and the landscape and everything, and it's beautiful in its own way, but coming in here and seeing the consistent rolling mountains and Rainier covered in clouds, and we're the most biodiverse place in the whole country. So even taking a square of grass this big and looking at it, it's just exploding with life. And so as someone who's super passionate about animals and also like a wildlife pet portrait artist, it's perfect. Absolutely
That's awesome.
perfect.
How is the Washington art scene? Have you dabbled at all in the art scene at all, or do you kind of keep to your own, do your own thing? Or?
A little bit of both. I know that there's like some towns, pre-COVID would have like little art festivals and I go and walk in them. But as far as like involving my own art in the community, not quite yet. But I'm in Yelm, and there's like a cute little farmers market, and there's a couple like mom and pop stores that have local artist things. And so I'm gonna try to start getting out into the community a little bit more.
So for dab number 3, we have wedding cake, and this one is a solventless live resin. And this one's, I think, my favorite consistency. It's just so like unique to itself.
And you can like get that on the tools so much better than some like the crumblier stuff.
Oh yeah.
That's my favorite so far.
Wedding cake is an indica-dominant hybrid known for its distinct taste of sweet cake and fruit, and its tendencies to leave the smoker social and relaxed. We picked up a gram of this live rosin at a dispensary on 99th Avenue in Bothell.
For number 3, you have created a series of time-lapse videos that allow people to watch as a piece comes to life. Sorry. Do you see this as an extension of, or as an extension of, or as a performance component of a piece? Or is it simply a way to interact with your fan base and your patrons?
I'd say more the latter. Like, a lot of people see art that I've been working on for years, right? So when we all start somewhere and they just see the final product and they go, I could never do that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like when I bring the time-lapse videos, like, no man, I'm just doing it one line at a time. If I can do it, you can too.
Mm-hmm.
And I firmly believe that anyone who wants to try art, anyone who feels like they have any art inside of them, just give it a go.
Yeah.
And then eventually, if you keep doing that, you'll make some really awesome stuff.
So sometimes with like the photorealism, somebody looks at it and goes, "That's not drawing," you know,
Yeah.
or something like that. Well, with a time lapse video, I mean,
Yep.
like, how can you deny it? You know,
Exactly.
Like,
No,
you get-
exactly.
And yeah, they're fun to watch. You know, just watching this whole thing. Like, especially I notice you tend to start with the eyes of whatever
Yes.
the picture is,
I
and
feel like it's souls,
yeah.
and then you build around that.
yeah, and I always thought that was really neat, and it's just kind of interesting to see where you go from the eye.
Cool, thank you.
So do you ever get people that like want time lapse videos? As we know, you do like pet portraits and stuff like that. Do you do they ever get requested to do those as well?
That's an interesting question. Never once. It's never even crossed my mind.
Really?
Yeah, so some people I'm like, hey, I'm just letting you know that like I'm gonna be posting the whole progress for this, and some I don't choose to do time-lapse videos. You probably know about making videos. They're a lot of work.
Yeah.
No, that's interesting. I totally would if someone asked me to, though. That'd be exciting.
Nice. For number 4, we have what is that? Platinum Cinex.
Platinum Cinex is a sativa-dominant hybrid known for its cerebral effects and tendencies to leave the smoker social and chatty. We picked up a gram of this batter at a shop in Capitol Hill.
So for number 4, so you use drafting film with some of your pieces.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a bit about the medium and how you use it to deepen and contrast between like light and dark? And
These questions are just so thrilling. They make me so happy. Oh my goodness. Drafting film is really cool. I would liken it to like that wax paper you have to like cook with, texture wise, but like the thickness of like those laminated sheets you used to practice alphabets on. It's a very strange feeling, but it's tough. So what that allows me to do is I can lay down a bunch of colored pencils, and I use removal techniques. So I take like a ceramic bladed box cutter for like when you see hair detail and stuff, and I lay down color and I shave it off. Lay down color, shave it off, lay down color, and I can keep it like. I may. You see these lines right here?
yeah.
And then this fish scales as well. I laid down that color, and then in order to make like finer, sharper detail, I started scraping it off.
Okay.
So that's how it can.
That's really awesome.
Also on the back, since it's slightly transparent, a lot of times colors don't show up quite as well on the film because it's so smooth, right? That affects how colored pencils layer. And so when I run out of room and the color isn't good enough, you can flip it over, draw on the back, and because it's see-through, it shines through. So when my darks aren't dark enough, I'll like do black for the eyes or whatever, flip it over, add purple, blue, and green, because that like widens the breadth of colors and deepens it.
Yeah, I was watching we were watching videos on how to do the drafting film and something like that, and it was kind of a cool process, and
Yeah.
we got intrigued by that. And so, do you find it adds like an extra layer of life to the things that you couldn't express without it?
Yeah, I'm in love with it. Honestly, it's all the other paper I've used. Even though this technically for professional colored artist papers doesn't take the most amount of layers, which is how you get your color. The durability of it, honestly, makes it so much easier to get any sort of color I want. Because along with the scraping tool, I have an eraser. So half the time to make something look dense, especially if we're doing fur, color, 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 erase. Color, 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 erase. And it leaves a little bit of a tint behind because you can't fully erase colored pencils.
Right.
And so it just, yeah, the techniques I can use on this, on the drafting film are like, unlike any other paper I can use.
And they're aimed more at longevity too, right? Like they don't get sunspots on them and stuff like that. Like they actually preserve the art a lot better.
That's preserving the art's a little bit more the pencils I use. I use it's called light fastness is how good a picture shows through.
Okay.
So I have the highest light fast pencils on the market.
Nice.
And so when I draw something, you can, it's not a good idea to hang in sunlight, but it can withstand a long time in all sorts of like elements that others wouldn't.
Okay.
And I also find that when you frame it, and I know this doesn't have anything to do with like longevity, but when you frame it, the color behind always shines through, and it's really cool. I don't know.
That's awesome. For number 5, we have slurricane.
Slurricane is an indica dominant strain known for its creeper effect, its sweet taste of sugary berries and grapes, and tendencies to leave the smoker sedated and calm. We picked up a gram of these sugar diamonds at a dispensary in Bothell.
I'm learning.
So you do a lot of commissioned pet portraits. Is there a level of pressure or anxiety that you feel when trying to capture the essence of a person's pet that like you don't get with other pieces?
Oh my goodness, yes. Like, cause I love my dog so much, and I know these it costs a bit of money to get a portrait for me. So, I want to make sure that they are in love with it for all the money that they're paying. And so oftentimes when I'm setting up something, I'm like, tell me all about your dog. Send me as many pictures as possible. Like I try to get to know the animal the utmost. And while I'm creating it, I'll send pictures to the person all the time. Like, this is okay. Are we doing well? Like, is this capturing the essence of your pet? And if not, they let me know and I can absolutely fix it. I 100% want someone to look at that and feel like their pet's right there, especially since a lot of what I do is memorial portraits.
Right, we kind of figured that would be the case with that. A lot of, and so people love their pets. So yeah, I can imagine that's gotta. But I imagine smoking before you do a painting kind of helps.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's also a lot easier to be like, okay, there's blues, there's greens, okay, there's some grays. It's like, oh, puppy, neat.
Like what's the difference in drawing one of these as compared to like an animal that you've either seen a picture of or seen in nature or
right. Like my wildlife portraits are definitely a lot less personal because that's a frog. I don't know that frog. He's a nice frog, but whatever. And I'm able to just kind of focus on my technique and the coloring, and if I do poorly, okay. If I do great, that's awesome. Like there's some pressure there that I always put on myself, but when I'm trying to work for something for other people, it's a lot more heart into it for sure.
All right. So for number 6, make sure that's going. Yep. We have.
Thank you.
Meathead.
Meathead is a hard-hitting indica dominant hybrid known for its pungent smell of diesel and pepper and its intense body high. We picked up a gram of these saucy diamonds at a shop on 172nd Avenue in Marysville.
There it goes.
Yay. VR, I see it. That's like next level.
That's really tasty.
Wow.
Yeah, I really like that one. There appears to be a duality in your work where some of your pieces are hyper-realistic portraits and others have a kind of an impressionist feel to them. Do you find that the subject matter influences the degree of realism a piece demands, or is there an artistic process behind the varied styles independent of the subject?
I love this question because I just try my best every time, and when it comes out more impressionistic, it's just because like I didn't do well. In my opinion, like I'm always trying to go for the most photorealistic I can. It's just since I really started learning in the pandemic, like every piece I'm working on evolves a little bit more. My skill gets a little bit better, and so I do try the photorealism every time. And some I'm at least with my dogs, the ones I did last night, I sent you guys. One I feels like a lot more colorful and buttery or what have you, and the other one's definitely a little bit more probably what I would impressionistic or what have you. The composition of the animal matters a lot. Like if it's a dark animal or a dark kitty cat, like you can add so much more, but there's only so much you can add to a paper to make white not look white.
That's totally understandable.
Yeah, so like that's actually my personal struggle area is because I use white surfaces to make white realistic hair on white paper is like my white whale.
I can totally get that. Some of the colors we noticed, there was an octopus one I noticed. It was a really good piece of art, but it was just the colors were kind of, well, those are like rad colors. I mean,
yeah. Okay. No, for that one, when I first started with colored pencils was about 3 years ago now. I'd done charcoal before that.
So there were some of those ones we were wondering because a couple of them looked like you had been working with charcoal, but I wasn't sure. So
no, but that octopus, I'm like, these colored pencils are really fun. I like them a lot. I'm getting into it. Like, I want my style to be as colorful as possible.
Okay.
And so I started that way, and then I started leaning into photorealism because I could start doing it. And I'm still trying to get that essence of as colorful as possible, but it looks real. I think it adds a warmer quality. And what's exciting about that is I actually have on my desk in the works right now, he's like this big. I'm redoing the octopus.
Oh, nice.
In a more like realistic, but I plan on using every single color I can.
Oh, cool.
So
I can't wait to see that.
It's coming, I promise.
I'm super excited to see that. That'd be rad.
I view the beta fish and the octopus are like my signature pieces, I feel like. So I think I'm gonna keep every couple years revisiting them and it'll represent the evolution of my style.
Hey guys, thank you so much for joining us on another episode of Dabbing with Washington Artists.
Make sure to share with your friends and click like and follow below for more great content. Also, check the links below for the more information about the artists and some of their current projects.
Do it.
Do it.
Do it.
Do it. Do it now.